I am Hank from freepodcasttools.com, and we're going to dive into plosives. So plosives are just that wind burst that sometimes hits the microphone diaphragm as we're talking. Maybe we're getting a little excited or overpronouncing P's or other letters that will help us thrust out a lot of wind. And then that gets into the recording. And I wanted to cover a couple of ways of how you could get rid of it. Obviously, if you have a higher end piece of software, you're going to easily be able to fire up some plugin and make that happen. But we're not about plugins at Free Podcast Tools. We're about having the skills to just do this on any piece of software that you might have handy, and including Audacity, which is free. So let's play this back.
Peter told me that he wanted to go to the prom.
So I've exaggerated the P here and then the P over here. Over the years, I've done this in multiple different ways. If it's something simple, I've always just done a fade in. So if we go to effect, you see we can go to fade in. I have mine keyed to my F key on my keyboard. So we could just click fade in. And then I'm just going to use my key to kind of fade it in a little bit more. So let's play that one back a little bit.
Peter.
So it's taking away a little too much of the P pronunciation. So I'll probably undo a little bit of it. Get a little shorter up here of a selection.
Peter told.
So that's not too bad, but you could play around with it, get it better. And then down here, we could do the same thing. I'm going to show you another way in just a minute. But I fade in a little bit.
To the prom.
So what you can't do with fade in is, as you'll see in this one, it's kind of coming into the word. It's not just at the front. So let's put them all back. All right. So now what I will do, zoom in a little bit. So we get this a little bit tighter. So up here, I'll select in here. And then I'm going to go to EQ, graphic EQ, under effect. And instead of getting rid of clicks where we have 3K and up, we're going to go to plosives where we're going to do 300 and down. So let's hit OK on that and see what happens. Ooh, look at the waveform changed up a little bit. Let's undo and redo. See how it looked. And now after EQ.
Peter.
So that sounds a lot better.
Peter.
It's a little overpronounced, but that was on purpose just to get that plosive, that wind burst in there. So that's gone. So down here, we'll go after this one. And it's really strong. So let's zoom in a little bit. Let's peel back through here. Let's go to effect, graphic EQ, and we're going to keep that setting 300 and down. Let's click OK. All right, and it looks like it dulled that one right on down.
To the prom.
So it gets rid of that super harshness on that. But if you go too far, it'll alleviate too much of the audio itself. So I'll just do it just to show you.
Go to the prom.
See how it just dulls that entire selection out. So you want to confine it to just where the plosive is. But over the years, I've always just done a quick fade in. I've never really had anybody call me on it. People typically just don't notice. Only other podcast producers notice stuff that's been altered in some way, shape, or form. But that is going to be a fraction of your audience, your listening audience. Unless you're doing a podcast about podcasting, you're probably either never or rarely going to come in contact with somebody that is a podcast producer that will be able to pick out all your faults and flaws. But for the average ears, it'll get you by. So either fade in or EQ. That's how you get rid of plosives manually on any type of software that you want to use. Obviously, I'll cover some plugins in the future, but We're all about the free stuff here at freepodcasttools.com. For more training videos, reviews, opinions, and much, much more, head to freepodcasttools.com.